USA falls into shambles after the Unionists won the 2028 election. This is after the Democrats and Republicans collapsed. The Unionist Party attempts to appease socialists, anarchists, Christian nationalists, and secessionists, all. But anger across the states leads to a collapse, and the U.S. fractures into a multi-group state like Somalia. So subscribe so we can. In New York, socialists, communists, cynicals unite and capture New York City. Thus, they march across the nation. And well, the state and the Unionists' forces are kicked out of the state, also known as the First Domino. It's what this rebellion is known as they quickly march in towards, I think Albany is about here. Forgot what city's on it, with them capturing it. Thus, then they use it to march towards the coast of the Great Lakes. And well, they quickly cause the Unionists to have to withdraw with threat of encirclement, so they could set up the defensive line. Thus, the cynical states create two states. And while in the South, Christian nationalists quickly gain Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, South Carolina, Arkansas, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Missouri. Okay, this is something. And this is what they become, occupying. And well, secessionist rebels in California revolt around Los Angeles as they decide to move up the coast. And well, these ones are light purple. For now, with their goal to capture California, which they quickly move in, capturing Los Angeles, these rebels thus move up the coast towards San Francisco, thus moving inland to capture Sacramento, just moving south, thus capturing most strategic areas of California, pushing inland. Thus, at this point, the Californian Independent Republic is declared a nation. Now let's go to Texas, where the Green Rebels, green. Why would I pick green? Who knows? But Texas, you're green now, and there's nothing you can do. As the rebels stirred around Houston, quickly capturing and moving north to capture more territories, thus capturing cities like Austin and Dallas and more. And then along this border they move in, thus with their rebels crossing here. Eventually the Unionists are forced to retreat out. Just like the, in New York. And while socialists move in to capture New England, let's see how this goes. With them setting their sights on cities like Boston, Concord, whatever it's called, and Providence, to quickly secure these states. You might be wondering, how did this happen? Well, the socialists rose up because, well, they didn't like the Union. As they quickly march in, seizing Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Quickly moving in, quickly capturing Vermont, New Hampshire, and while marching into Maine's major areas. And well, then Maine falls over. What a shock. As these become, well, parts of it, but realistically not yet. And well, at this point, well, thus the Mormons, feeling left out, decides to also revolt, forming the Mormon Republic, or Deseret, whatever, doesn't matter the name. It's not going to last long. with them declaring themselves independent. Let's see how that happens. And Christian nationalists race to DC with the socialists. Let's see how it goes. Well, the Christian nationalists take the lead. What a shock. They're physically closer, with two directions to get there opening up. One from South Carolina. Not that color. This color. And thus moving into North Carolina. Within the north, they managed to cut off Washington, D.C. from the rest. Let's hope the Unionist leader escaped. But with the socialists realizing they're not getting this, they take the opportunity to push into the Midwest and Pennsylvania to occupy more land, thus spreading their revolutionary ideas. And to capture Ohio, a rebellion begins. The socialist rebellion begins, with the socialist rebellion across the state, with the goal of joining them. How did they become communist? Who knows? Maybe they were bored with the Union, maybe. With them declaring themselves part of the Communist Republic, Ohio, with these nations not doing much. With, for the meanwhile, the socialist states get slowed down. And while Washington is about to fall, with them capturing Washington, D.C. and putting themselves in charge, with these two areas collapsing, with them thus collapsing to arguably not well. With them holding out to the coast a bit longer, with China and supporting the cynical states, but Russia supports this one for some reason. And while none of them end up joining yet, with this all becoming part of their occupation zone. Except Washington, D.C., which they declare the capital. Who knew they would? And while Texas and California gets hungry, so they go on a bit of an expansion. You might say, where's California expand? Well, they don't expand where you would think they would expand. And well, they go north to seize northern areas quickly, with them blitzing their way in, with them breaking through an army in the background. Thus, they break out here. The Union is shocked by this. And then, while this is happening, they break out here, with them using this opportunity to move over here. And when they do it, they end up moving in, quickly seizing a lot of areas, including Salem, and then moving into Washington. And while they quickly move north, seizing these lands, and while they did that, they also seized the southern part of Nevada, or Las Vegas area, and then use this to cut off to here where the Mormon state is. Basically, this area being demoralized surrenders. And while Texas goes on an expansionist spree into New Mexico. And while they quickly move in to take Albuquerque and Santa Fe, quickly seizing it, whilst at the same time, they move into Louisiana to take New Orleans to seize the opening of the Mississippi. And while at this point, the socialists and the Christian nationalists race to see who can capture more land. As they move into Nebraska, the Christian nationalists, and into Illinois, with them managing to convince masses in certain states to just join them, which works out in the case of Nebraska, the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming. which allows them to move in, quickly seizing Colorado. With the fall of this nation, and then let's fix California's occupation zone. And well, Texas, you occupy this for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be that color. With them thus deciding all states they occupy will become part of it, basically. Even though they do occupy some of other states. With California and Texas marching in and seizing this. And well, at this point, it's about becomes this as Texas quickly moves in, occupying that. With them managing to successfully spark a socialist uprising in Wisconsin and Minnesota. With them just seizing the opportunity now to seize what they can. With them at this point definitely not outpowering the other nations. Definitely not being outpowered. With a few states not being able to become states, like Illinois, not enough occupation. But to the socialists, they pounce on this state to make it theirs, thus making the rest an occupation zone. Basically, what they have to invade becomes an occupation zone. And well, let's see how the California Republic and as the Unionists fall, they go to Alaska and Hawaii, California, and Texas leave, forming their own nations now. Let's see what. Anarchist rebellions collapsing, which were basically anarchists no law trying to rise up and start revolts. They basically failed to take any cities, thus meaning they didn't show up here. Thus, Christian nationalists and socialists fight. Socialists siege huge parts of the Christian nationalists, but the Christian nationalists occupy the South, and while the socialists occupy the North. All groups dislike that, with the only thing they agree on is disliking the Mormons who declare independence. Well, let's see what the socialists do. And also, that is the California Republic. California is now 5 states, southern, center. No, not 5, 6. Oops. And while Nevada is 2 2 occupied territories. And while Cascadia becomes 4. Northern Idaho, Greater Idaho to the south. Oregon, Washington, and a few others like Las Vegas and Nevada. With Texas splitting itself in 4, the south, the northeast, the northwest, and the El Paso area, although that's not the names of them. And then there's Oklahoma, there's New Mexico, and they become puppets. And you might be saying, where do the socialists attack first? Well, they basically cause one huge occupation zone to collapse as they move in, quickly seizing the rest of Illinois. With fear of encirclement, they withdraw, with the war now being against their enemies. And also here, as we see, yeah, they switch sides. Oh, that was the wrong color, but they end up getting occupied. Well, they move in to a new area. They decide to storm into Kentucky. As they storm in, they secure vital lines. Thus, they're trying to, as you can see, encircle them. As they move around the Mississippi River and Missouri and both sides like this. Then they follow Arkansas's border. and thus they occupied it here. Thus, these socialists move in deeper into Arkansas and Missouri, and they move quickly through Iowa. These now becoming parts of its republic. Now that's going to redraw borders, except in New York. With a stalemate here being broke out by the Christian nationalist forces as they push into Pennsylvania. Quickly moving into the northern part, seizing many parts of it to split the forces, but thus this doesn't really do much. As well into Alabama, they're losing land fast. No, Mississippi, oops, wrong state. As they move into Alabama. With them now in the South, where all the power is. With the Christian nationalist forces about to fall. As they lose many other key areas and start falling into Florida. The leader of this union falls. With much of the places that voted to join the Christian nationalists now voting to be syndicalists. And while they managed to turn these states syndicalist, with this union now falling, they are capitulated by Washington. There's no way they're going to continue fighting, is realized. So they come in through here, not worried about the occupation zone at all, and move in and encircle Washington, D.C. and take it, thus overthrowing the leadership, thus knowing weak control over their last few states. Thus noting this, they collapse. And all the nations that were part of them become this, while syndicalists are overthrown. And yes, they become territories. And they don't have a big desire to redraw the states. Maybe in the future they will, but not right now. And as you can see, they now have to do something. Thus, the end of the Union as the cynicalist states of America is formed. But syndicalists and workers and communists are angry at the state of government as socialists and state communists form government. They plan to destroy all free nations. To the west, Texas, California, and the Mormon area as the Western War begins. First, they have a success. Yeah, they succeed in taking Utah back from the Mormons. But then the second phase of this war begins as the Unionists stay in their territories like Puerto Rico and stuff. Well, actually, Puerto Rico gets stolen. Now they're stuck in the Pacific Ocean. But who cares? Well, there's the U.S. Virgin Islands, probably also seized. As in this war, they move into Louisiana. And they also move into Oklahoma. With Texas ready for this, the revolutionaries adopt their goals of staying independent, kind of like when they fought against Mexico. They were like, no. Thus, with this seized, they go on the offensive. Who knew Texas would do that? If only they had a thought. With them moving into the South. With the Texan Republic getting out of the war, but the Union has to seize Arkansas, which becomes one of their territories, and Mississippi. With this Union not having many states. But they create a democracy. With them attempting to go after California, but yeah. They managed to get outmaneuvered because Texas gave a report to California that, well, they were about to get invaded, so they heeded the warning and armed up. As Utah and a few others fall. And while As you can see, they also start losing Montana, Colorado, and Wyoming, with them needing to get out of this war, with them refusing to let the syndicalists out. Thus, like Poland, they gain significant swaths of land, thus needing to redraw their states, but not yet, because they're okay with these borders, not the square ones fundamentally, but with the syndicalists declaring being fully free. And well, with all the Mormon states, California manages to push back and gain lands, along with Texas, obviously. As the Union then declares these area states as their Alaska, Hawaii, and their those. And well, with us knowing what happened there, they lose the land. Let's see how the election would go. But not yet. It's fun, but is this new government stable as socialists and state communists resist worker communists, syndicalists, and workers' republic, anarcho-communists, form the Liberation Party to resist the authoritarian socialist and commune or social America. Becomes the Social America Party by the socialists and separatists. No, communists, I mean. Will it split? Who knows? Well, let's see the election. Light, dark red, that's where the Communist Party won. But with the Liberation Party winning key areas all across here. Places that joined the revolution. Thus, managed to seize this by then, this. And this, but these guys managed to seize this. As it looks like, as the election becomes the side's victory, because, well, it does. And well, with that, for 5 likes and 40 views, there'll be a part 2. So share the video to others. Also, please like and subscribe and drop a comment of your thoughts and theories, and click the notification bell. And so you don't miss Wednesday's video where we return to our alternate Future of the World series, and Friday's video where we return to American Paranoia series. Also, click a video above. Wild Mapper out. Bye, guys.